So there's a big court case taking place in California right now, and Mark Zuckerberg is there to testify. And essentially what they're trying to determine is whether or not there is a an addictive capacity to social media, and if the product was in fact designed to be that way. So we're going to talk a little bit about that throughout the course of the show. Here, listen to this.
I think there's two issues. One, I want to be very sympathetic to anybody that lost their child. I think that's the first thing. And I want to understand, are these social media companies doing things to actually build this addiction system in the system? The second issue, which is going to be less popular with most people, is I want parents to start to take some responsibility for the use of social media. You're the one that bought the device, and you're the one that did this, and you're the one that allowed them to do that. And while I don't ever want to put the burden back on the parents, I do want the parents to take note to what's happening. In cigarettes, we know that the warnings are there. If your child smokes, there's going to be a problem. So I really do want to split the issue into, I don't want social media companies to do things that are going to create addiction. I also want parents to lock things down.
Fox News Channel's Marcus Lemonis there saying what I really want to ask a lot of you today, and at about 1:30, I think we're going to open up the phone line, and I'm curious to hear from parents. I'm curious to hear from you folks who have gone through this, are in the middle of going through this, whatever the circumstances might be in your time in life when it comes to managing social media use for your children. What do you want? Do you want help? Do you need government help? Do you need it? Can you not do it yourself? Because I'm in the thick of this right now. It's something that I certainly have had people come to me out in public when I'm out, like, for instance, last night at the Retirement Advisory Group event that we had, a great full house there. I have people come up and appreciate that I talk about being more of a strict mom when it comes to social media use, phone use, all of that type of stuff with my children. The stakes are so high, so incredibly high with what is accessible to our children when they are given a phone. Now, kids are always like, Mom, I want a phone. Everybody else has a phone. Why don't I have a phone? And the answer, you got to get real specific when you're talking to your children about this, or if you hear your grandchildren talking about this, you have to be very specific because they don't want the phone. They want the internet. They want social media. They want the connection, the digital connection that everybody else's parents have already provided their kids. And the truth is depending on your age, not every other parent has already done it. That's not true. When you capitulate to your child, think about all of the things that your child could beg you for over the course of the time that you spend parenting them. Think about all of the things that they really, really want. Think about all the things they ask you that they want to do that other people are doing, that maybe they're not even as bold to like come make that personal request of you. But think about all of the things that your children want to do that they see other people doing, and then they say, I got to have that. That's where everybody is, Mom. It's literally the everybody else is doing it argument that our children are making to our parents. Here's the very unfortunate problem that I think there's a unique generation of children that are facing something and going through something that no other generation will have the privilege / repercussions of what's taking place right now. People who are being put in a position, parents who are being put in a position to make these decisions, kids that are asking for them. There's never been a parent-child, generation to generation, where the parents had no clue about specifically the digital landscape that they are permitting or restricting their child from. Now, generationally, we always have gaps. There's always technological advancements. I remember the internet came about when I was in junior high, and I remember there being an enormous amount of inappropriate things accessible when I was in junior high that I was probably exposed to at sleepovers or whatever. We didn't have them on our phones, but it was really the same thing. But nobody could know en masse what we're dealing with because it hadn't been done before. So it's very hard to parent and protect. I mean, your job as a parent is to protect. Ultimately, it is to protect. Protection comes in a whole bunch of different emotions and in a whole bunch of different implementations, but your job is to protect your children. And what I see people it kind of blows my mind. Like, I almost feel as though the reason why this happens is because we as adults are so addicted to our phones that we feel hypocritical telling our children no. But if you go out on the weekend and have 2 or 3 beers and your child says, well, you're doing it, you're obviously not going to let your kid have a couple beers. So we make these decisions already, but this is just so new and different. When a child comes to you and wants that social media access, they want to do what the other kids are doing. And the truth of the matter is, if you do not hand over that access to your child is going to be left out. If the child is not there to participate in the social town square that exists on TikTok, on Instagram, on Snapchat for sure, on a variety of different platforms, the truth of the matter is they are going to be left out. And that is going to be hard. But you have to ask yourself, if they're going to be left out, what are they going to be left out of? If I allowed them to be included, what are they going to be included in? For some parents, they don't know the answer to that. They just don't know because they haven't done it. They haven't been there before. For other parents, they know, they think that their kid's a good kid and that their kid won't get caught up in it. But folks, this is where this lawsuit comes in. Right now, Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook, Google also is a party to this, which of course is YouTube, among other things. They are in court to determine whether or not their platforms have been made, created, manifested in a way that becomes addicting specifically to children.